Well, 3 consecutive days of slide is what we've seen, especially in global markets, and that has quickly reversed on Thursday. We've seen all 3 US indices in Europe, outside the UK, all of them trending towards the green. And this is on the back of a couple of course, factors that one would have to watch out for. The Jackson Hole Symposium, which kickstarts today, US time, of course, and we will have some amount of commentary from the Fed chair tomorrow, which is on Friday morning. So that will trickle down to Friday evening for us, at least in India, and the impact of that too will trickle Friday morning in the US. So we will see an impact of that only on Monday. But at the moment, there has been a switch in trend after all of that pessimism that came through early in the week. 3 days in the red for US indices, and now we've seen a quick reversal come Wednesday. In fact, when we're looking at the Dow, the Dow was up around 1/5% in trade yesterday. The S&P 500 also up around 1/3%, and the Nasdaq rose around 0.4% in trade. So there's good positivity trending towards those tech stocks. Moving quickly on to Europe, European markets too rose. We saw the DAX as well as the Stock 600 up around 1/5% as well. We only saw the FTSE drop in slightly lower, but other than that, we saw a positive trend in trade even in Europe. Moving quickly on to how Asia has opened and how US looks in terms of their futures. US futures continues to trend positive. We are seeing a third of an increase in both the S&P 500 futures as well as the Nasdaq futures. In terms of Asia, we're looking at largely green. We're looking at a positive start on the Nikkei. It's up around 0.5%. We're seeing the Kospi also up 0.9%. The ASX 200 up around 0.8%. The only index in the red is the Shanghai, which is down around 0.5% in trade. But China has some of its own unique issues currently which they are facing, so that may not be the base at the moment. We're also seeing a good 0.5% increase on the SGX Nifty, so positive trend across the board is what we're seeing, especially in global indices, and that's what global cues are pointing towards. Moving quickly on to commodities, well, oil prices saw a spike, and that's largely on the back of the Iran-US deal getting a bit of a hiccup on the back of US possibly not accepting some of the terms that Iran is set to put forth or is putting forth. Some pessimism on that front is what is leading oil prices higher. In fact, we're seeing oil currently at $95.50 a barrel. It was sub $90 at the start of this week. So we're seeing a quick reversal in oil prices, up 5% through this week. We're also seeing Brent above that $102 a barrel, no, just at $102 a barrel as we speak. So clearly some amount of a push in terms of oil prices. That's what's happened through this week. We're also seeing gold see a bit of a spike through this week. We've seen gold sub $1,750 an ounce, and that's reversed quickly. It's at $1,765 an ounce on the back of a weaker dollar index. Dollar index has fallen from very close to that 109 mark to below 108.5. That's where we're seeing the dollar index, and that's where gold is coming back. And of course, the Jackson Hole conference will hold the key as to where gold goes from here on. Moving lastly to bonds. Bond yields have now trended upwards. In fact, the US 10-year bond yield is now at 3.1+%, which definitely is largely on the back of the Fed commentary, or the Fed chair commentary, if I can call it, at Jackson Hole. So keep your eye out on that. A lot of factors depending on how that plays out. Moving lastly to cryptos largely flat through this week. In fact, that's largely been the trend, with Bitcoin at around $21,500. That's where we're at. But overall, positive cues, especially for Indian markets today. There's a positive trend coming through. Global cues also indicate a good, strong, positive start.